Welcome, everybody. This is What's Up for You. It's July 8th, 2025. And yeah, we're going to see where we're going to go today. What I am noticing right off the bat is yesterday was a pretty big day energetically, almost as if like there was a shift or a timeline jump or it's like going to bed last night, in my case anyway, was challenging, was difficult to fall asleep. Waking up this morning, however, felt like almost like waking up in a new space the energy feels really different. So it's not surprising to me that we have a little bit of a lighter day today as far as the questions are concerned and things like that. So we'll kind of take that as the universe's way of kind of easing us into whatever wants to be new for us. And maybe that's why that word forgiveness came up before we started the recording, and that opportunity to just acknowledge that something wants to be forgiven or others can be forgiven. It's almost like this energy of not holding on to maybe what's been so that something new can be, I think is the best way to maybe say that. So let's see where we're going to go today. Sharon, do you want to take us away?
Yeah. All right. Our very first question is, my daughter Jeanette, age 24, is a nonverbal autistic. I would like to know how I can help her to communicate other than her form of aggression. Also, Jeanette is extremely sensitive. She has a certain way of closing her eyes while standing or sitting and looks like she is processing something. It looks like her body is tensing up. It's kind of hard to explain, but can you tell me what she is doing? Also, I'm worried about her health and sometimes the med she is on, or maybe if she needs something else for her body.
Well, I mean, you might say Jeanette's busy 24/7. Her body is extremely, I'm going to say fine-tuned instead of sensitive. And as it is fine-tuned, it's almost like she becomes a processor of collective energy. So, like what she's showing me is like the division, the separation, the stress, the push and pull that is kind of rampant right now in humanity. She's very aware of that. It's almost like you could say sometimes her aggression is doesn't belong to her at all. It's more like a collective aggression. She keeps talking about the way in which humanity thinks that they're safer if they're right. It's um, like when humanity feels like they'll be safer if they're quote unquote right, if they're in the right camp or the right point of view or the right whatever. Um, and so as we're saying this to her, as we're letting her hear these words, one of the things that I would say to her often is that it's not her responsibility anymore to hold the aggression and the separation energy of others. She's That's been almost like a service, you might say, that she provided consciously, knowingly or unknowingly. But she's like, again, it's almost like she needs somebody to remind her that she doesn't have to do that anymore, that it's not her responsibility. Thank you very much for that service. And it's much more service at this stage of her life at this stage of Jeanette's life to just be reminded that, yeah, that she does not have to process that through her body and through her emotions. It's like, I just want to say it's okay for her to rest. Yeah, it's okay for her to rest. And she does need a little bit of a verbal reminder of that. So I know it might sound strange to verbally say that to her, but as you do verbally say it to her, it acknowledges mm, something that she kind of knows internally, but hasn't quite yet given herself permission for. Yeah, so I hope that's helpful. Hmm.
My 13-year-old daughter says that she sometimes experiences a voice in her head that asks her to hurt herself. She was recently diagnosed with ASD and says that she feels like a failure. I would be grateful for any guidance on how I can help her. Thank you for your warmth and wisdom.
Okay, so um, this is interesting. So what Ella is showing me is like that it's not necessarily that there's a voice outside of her that's um, asking her to harm herself, but within the totality, within the field of consciousness that she actually is, there is an aspect of her that feels that her challenges are are less than or make her less than. And of course they don't. Um, and we can know that about her, but it's almost like this voice inside of her head that says, I'm less than, is one, something that she's might be picking up from those that are projecting energy around her, but also it speaks to a voice within her that thinks that because of this condition, you might say, or perceived um, diagnosis, that she is less than, and that is not just harmful to her, but that deserves that she deserves to be hurt, or that she is being hurt because of that. And again, let's clear this field because it's like the voices in her head are almost the projections of of others who might see her through that lens. And again, back to what we were just saying before, this is not her responsibility. This is not her this is not her energy. It might resonate with a part of her that feels like she, quote unquote, should be different. But is that her internal voice, or is that the internal voice of others around her? She shouldn't be different. She's really brilliant, beautiful as she is. And the more that those words are spoken to her, the more that energy is projected toward her, the more when you feel as a parent that somebody else might be projecting onto her less than that, let's stop right there. Let's stop them right there. And really kind of reorient that energy. It's like she needs reminders over and over again just how beautiful her uniqueness actually is. It's that beauty and that uniqueness is a service to her family, to humanity, to everybody that she interacts with. And she's just been getting a different message, and that different message has been resonating with a part of herself, a part of all of us that quite frankly feels like if we're not doing it the way everybody else is doing it, that we must be wrong, we must be bad, we must be, and it's not true. So and really letting her hear that. It's like, even as I'm saying, it's not true. Like she's shaking her head with me and going, okay, breathe, breathe, breathe. It's not true. It's not true. Yep. And so we want to project that it's not true, and your beauty and your difference is highly, highly supportive to our family, towards humanity, towards, whether you believe it now, Ella, yet or not, we're going to keep saying it to you. We're going to keep reminding you until that becomes the predominant um, knowing, right? That's the predominant knowing. Yeah. And again, back to this forgiveness word, it's okay that everybody in the family forgive themselves for the challenges that they've experienced by having a child that shows up differently. It's okay for Ella to forgive herself for being different, for being unique, for not meeting the norms. It's like, thank God she doesn't meet the norms, because we we need that difference to shake things up. We need that difference to allow ourselves to forgive what we thought we should be, and therefore allow her to forgive herself for not being what we thought she should be. Yeah. So, okay. Mm.
All right. This next
Yeah,
question.
something's really moving today, I'll tell you. It's like, it's a, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
My son has been doing amazing in school since he was 3 years old. He now has an associate's degree in IT and finishing a certification in audio engineering recording. He has clearly stated that he is done with education, wants to enter the workforce and would like his own place to live. What do you see energetically for him as he is moving into these next steps? Thank you.
Yeah, I love this for him. And I love the clarity of, this is what I will do next. It's like, this is what I like. This is what I don't like. This is what I choose. Um, and the reason to really appreciate this is because when that intention is coming from the inside out, when it's coming from his choice versus somebody else's choice, what happens naturally and organically is the it's just like when any of us set an intention. The outer landscape, you might say, our lives, our daily lives mm, can start kind of coagulating around us. And it's no different for him. He's very clear about what he wants. And let's not underestimate his ability to bring that reality into form for himself. I think I want to say here, it's like, sit back and watch. It's like there's a there's a flow, or a not a flow. There's a broadcast that he's sending out that's clear and coherent and really alive, very vibrant. And as he's broadcasting that out, he, like anybody else on this planet, is is going to attract back into his life experience the supports, the methodologies, the opportunities, um, in ways that you might not be able to quite imagine. He literally is like, sit back and watch, like, get out of the way, sit back and watch what I can do. So yeah, I'm excited for his tenacity, you might say, throughout his life to be reflected back to him. Um, yeah, in all the ways that he intends it to be. So.
All right. Adam is going to a 2-week autism summer program camp in Indiana, July 13th. Some academics, mostly outings to a water park, amusement park, etc. This will be a stretch for Adam as he will be required to be more independent than he ever has been, and he has not been away from home more than 3 nights, 4 days. Adam is excited he will be with 11 other autistic college age students who are higher functioning. However, the program directors see potential in Adam and want to take a closer look at him in summer program to see if he is a good fit for their year-long program starting in August. We have spent the past month increasing independence and placing him in unfamiliar situations to navigate. My question is there any more we can do this week to prepare Adam for success?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm like just giggling. He just, from the minute this question started being asked, he kept saying, watch me, watch me, watch me rise to the occasion. Kind of like I was saying in the last question, in that response, these are all kind of like binking off of each other in some ways. Um, I, I know that we can all feel like we are the ones stretching the kids, but the kids are also asking to be stretched, right? They're asking to bring about these scenarios. So you might kind of go, okay, it was my idea that he went to camp or it was whatever, but all he's saying is, watch me rise to the occasion. And he is very, very excited about being, um, he's saying it this way, in the energetic field of his peers. He does not in any way see himself as um, less than those peers or not up to par with those peers. Um, he's just really talking about the fact that by simply being in that field, that they're helping to raise him up. And he is more than capable of meeting that opportunity. So it's kind of like, watch me, watch me, watch me, you know. So, um, yeah, and I think in your own mind, it's like verbally saying to him, or in your own mind, dropping some of the fear, the worry, the concern about what might not go well, and really, you've got this. You've got this. We believe in you. We're curious to see how this unfolds. However, it unfolds is really beautiful. It's part of what you've called forth. We're really proud of you for stepping into this opportunity in the first place. It's like, you've got this, you've got this, you've got this. So, yeah, he's good. He's kind of like, he's ready. Yeah.
All right. I am writing about my son Matthew. He is autistic with ADHD, ARFIDS, and Tourette's. Lately, he is really concerning me with his anger outbursts, his opposition to requests, and us just talking to him. It causes him to get irritated, even if he asks a question like we're replying. He has started saying he hates people and he hates us. I keep reminding myself that he doesn't have access to a lot of language, and so he's firing out the quickest and easiest thing to say. I miss my boy who was just joyful and seeked connection with us.
If we don't take this, I know I'm asking a lot here. If we don't take this personally, but recognize that that sweet boy that you know and love, that's still completely there, has also been inundated his whole life with, again, other people's projections. Quite frankly, other people's, let's say it like this, in our lives, the people that project all over us are the people that have a hard time really seeing who they are, themselves as who they are. I'm not saying this about you in particular. I'm saying that with a lifetime of sensitivity and with a lifetime of that beautiful soul that you know is still in there. That beautiful soul has been inundated with projections. And at some point, anytime any of us are inundated with projections, we're going to get to the place where we dislike, or in this case, the word hate, the those that are creating those projections. You might be as a safe place, you might be the easiest place for him to share that awareness, right? And that's why I'm saying if we cannot take this personally, but say, honey, I get it. I get it. With your level of sensitivity and with the information that you've picked up from, you know, us and others, consciously, unconsciously, we're sorry. We're sorry. And there's a lot of emotion here. We're sorry for what you've endured. It's absolutely reasonable to be angry, to it's like allowing him that anger instead of saying, no, you're supposed to be happy. You're supposed to be going back to that sweet boy. He's trying. He's really trying. It's like, it's almost like he just needs to get it out. He needs an outlet. And if any one of us, quite honestly, and I think that many of us can relate to this in one way or another, if any one of us received projection after projection around we should be different, we're not enough, this isn't working, you should be this, you shouldn't be that. You know, at some point we just have taken as much as we can take and we're all done. And when we're all done, that energy has to come out because if it doesn't come out, it just eats us alive. And there's so much love here. There's so much love in this family. There's so much love for that presence that he is. And we're just going to allow him, we're just going to give him permission to share what he needs to share. We're going to give ourselves permission to create some parameters around that sharing so that he's not harming anyone around him in that sharing. So, you know, I can't let you berate me as your parent, but I can completely understand how this energy needs to get out. Let's yell it out. Let's scream it out. Let's punch it out, you know, with something that's appropriate to punch. But let's get that energy moving in a way that's appropriate so that he doesn't also have to feel um, anger towards himself when he takes it out on others that he loves. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Give him some parameters. It's okay for it to be there and it's okay for it to come out, just not on you all. Yeah, because whatever's been projected, whatever's been felt, whatever has been left unprocessed anywhere um, is being forgiven, can be forgiven, doesn't need to be held on to. Yeah. Okay. Oh, lots of, there's lots of emotion moving there. So, yeah. Hmm. Go ahead.
All right. My son, who is autistic and non-speaking, I believe he is ready to begin toilet training. But since he's nonverbal, it's very challenging for me to know when he needs to go or to get him to tell me in any way. I am reaching out to see if you have any insights or suggestions on how I can best support him during this next stage. What might Chase need from me to help make this a successful and positive experience for both of us?
How old is he, Sharon?
He is 10.
He's 10. Okay. Let me see here. So, um, I can completely get that desire for, um, yeah, that toilet training to take place. And at the same time, there's something going on, um, energetically, just, I'm going to say behind him. So if you've heard me long enough now, you know I kind of look at light bodies and physical bodies, and especially when it comes to toilet training and things like that, always to me, the first thing to look at is how integrated is that light body with the physical body, because if the light body's um, not, let's say, low enough or integrated into low enough in the body, then there's no sensation, there's no awareness. So sometimes we're asking these kids in toilet training to feel things that they can't feel, or notice things that, we all take for granted, but they just don't notice because they're not connected to the body, to that degree to feel those impulses, those urges, those things that we take for granted. So, and this is the case here too, but very specifically, something right, in the back, like right behind, I'm going to say right behind the solar plexus, the sacral chakra, that area. So lower back, more towards the sacral than towards the solar plexus. It's almost like there's a little bit of a resistance to embodiment right there. And we can look at all kinds of things, but the reason really doesn't matter as much as it's almost like, how do I want to say that it's almost like there's a no-go zone or a black hole zone right in that small of his back, right? Definitely on the backhand side, not in the front. And it's almost like anytime his energy goes there, it kind of like, um, there's a little bit of a disassociation that happens there. This can be because there's some energy around that within the lineage. It could be for a variety of reasons. It doesn't really matter. What we want to do is, before we ask him to toilet train, we want to start filling up that no-go zone, you might say, or that black hole zone, and filling it up, love, compassion, understanding, um, support. Um, this is a very energetic thing, and depending on how you feel about that, I would literally start, almost, if he'll let you, put your hand on the small of his back. And when you do that, literally fill that space up with love, gratitude, appreciation, light, whatever you want to fill it up. It's like, think about it like a hole, and that hole just, yeah, needs to be supported. It needs to be filled up. The more that space is filled up energetically, the more it feels comfortable for him to be lower in the body without disassociating from it, right? And again, this could be picked up down through the lineage. There could be some trauma somewhere that took place that he seems to just simply be holding in his energetic field. And we don't have to analyze that any deeper than that, but just recognize that if it's there, that the way we can be of support is by filling up that field with something different than what it might have been filled up with before. He's looking for an anchor point in the body. And as that anchor point is available in the body through filling this no-go zone up with light, it's the moment that that happens, then he can feel himself more in his body. So when you take him through the natural steps of toilet training, he's actually going to be able to feel what you're asking him to do. But we have to fill this space up first. Um, yeah, so and and let's give him some time. He's been in his 10 years, that's just been a space that hasn't really filled up for him in that lower small of the back. So he's going, give me a little time. Just give me 6 weeks. Give me some time of filling that space up before you ask me um, to follow those steps. But once it's filled up, those steps are going to be much easier to follow, much easier to follow. So it's going to be well worth the 6 weeks, you might say, of input on your part. If he won't let you hold on to his back, just see it, imagine it, fill it up. Just whether you're visual or not, just pretend if that feels okay. Just okay, there's a hole there and we're filling it up and we're filling it up and we're filling it up. Yeah. And then all of it, and then you're just going to watch. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay.
Our son is Jacob Antonio, 24 years old, non-speaking autistic. Want to ask what is going on for Jacob. He will be interactive, engaged, and then suddenly, like someone flicked a light switch, he experienced a complete regression, including impulsive, no bathing, self-interest, very loud, continuous vocalizations. This can last for 2 to 3 weeks. Then he comes out of it. It's like anchor light switch. I'm curious, what supports he is inviting from us to be present, integrated in his human biosuit. Thank you.
This is such a fascinating conversation today because now I understand that word forgiveness. At the beginning, I was like, going, what's that about? Um, but again, nasa kentara kyoko ko na mandani windia diyosen tere kame yosen tere kyoko akakimen yosen. You know those moments where somebody comes to us and they've been through something and we don't and we just say we're sorry. We just, even though we might not have had anything to do with it, or we don't even really fully understand the scope of what has been experienced. Those moments when we just kind of, you know, look at somebody with all authenticity and say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for what you've been experiencing. I'm sorry for what you're feeling. I'm sorry that I'm not exactly sure how to be of support in this moment. I'm sorry for not understanding. And all of those I'm sorries are not an admission of failure on anybody's part. They're a recognition of vulnerability. It's a recognition of that something bigger is happening that we don't fully comprehend. And it's okay that we don't fully comprehend it. It's okay that we're all in a pretty massive learning curve. But there's something about that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for what you're experiencing. I'm sorry that I don't fully understand. There's something about that that loosens all of this up. Yeah, there's something about that that also gives him permission to, the way he's showing it to me is like feel into something that he's also sorry about. Yeah, again, sorry, vulnerability, not a weakness, a recognition that something much bigger, he just keeps going, much bigger, much bigger. Something much bigger is going on. And as much as we want answers for that, it's almost like these are the words I'm hearing, so take them as they resonate or not. But because whatever is taking place in this case is much bigger than we know, he's saying it's almost like humbling ourselves in our vulnerability, humbling ourselves through our vulnerability. I don't understand. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. It's like that Ho'oponopono. Yeah. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. Yeah. It's like that. And there's something about that level of vulnerability in these moments that cracks something wide open here, cracks something wide open. It's something, or it's an experience, an awareness, a capacity that he's kind of been inviting people to his whole life, but he keeps saying, now's the moment, now's the moment. And we don't get there through knowing how to change it or fix it. We get there through like this vulnerability, this deep humility that comes with literally not knowing, literally not knowing. So, yeah, gentle, gentle, gentle.
All right, this is last question.
Okay.
Once in a while, 8-year-old Raiden wakes up at 4 a.m. and not able to go back to sleep. Is there any spiritual reason for this?
He wakes up at 8 a.m., you said?
4 a.m.
Oh, 4 a.m. Okay. Well, what he says is the interconnectedness of all things. So that time frame, between, what do they say, between 3 and 5, he's kind of dead center in the middle, where it's much easier for any of us to connect with higher states of our own consciousness. He's saying kind of like, that's what I'm tuned into. That's what I am all day, every day. That's the place that resonates with me the most, not because I'm trying to connect with my own divinity, but because that's when my divinity kind of locks into place, kind of literally wakes me up. Um, and so it's again to acknowledge that what a, I know this is going to sound for a parent who wants to sleep and for somebody who, would like to make it through the night. Um, this will sound ludicrous, but again, that acknowledgement that, wow, honey, you're waking up right during that time where the, you might say the broader part of you is right there. It's right there. And so to to sit with him in that, oh, there you go. Yeah. If you're awake with him during that time, sit with him in that. Close your eyes. Be in that field with him. I think you might be amazed, in awe of what you experience in that space, in that, I'm going to say it's almost like a co-meditative space, whether he's meditating or whatever, whether he's doing that or not, for you in that moment, close your eyes and literally just feel into that. He's calling it like that environment, um, the environment of who he is in truth. That's what's available at 4 a.m. That's what he's waking up to, what he's being reminded of. He doesn't want to lose that reminder, you might say. So, in some ways, he's set it up so that he's very tuned into it. And the more you tune into it with him, the more you're going to get a much bigger glimpse of who he is in truth. One of the things I want us to just feel into today is there's a lot of things that are taking place because we are in the phase of human evolution that we are in right now that we simply don't understand. I mean, and that's not a failure on any of our part. It's simply an evolutionary process. It's like stepping into a new environment that we're not familiar with. It has maybe a new language, a mm, new reference points. And so nobody's wrong or bad or out of sync because we don't understand or we're not there yet. And this really applies to anyone, quite frankly, looking at an individual that has a diagnosis of autism, because we like to think that we understand. We like to imagine that we can figure it all out, because if we figure it all out, it'll make us feel much more comfortable and we can just go back to being happy, or whatever we were prior to our experiences with these kids. But over and over again, these kids are always inviting us to the unknown, to what we haven't evolved into yet. And sometimes that very first step in that evolution from where we are currently functioning to what they might be inviting us to is just to acknowledge that we don't know. Yeah, just to acknowledge that we don't know. We're curious, we're open, we're a little dumbfounded sometimes, but we're open. We're open, we're open. Show us, lead us, take us in that direction. Um, And the more we give ourselves permission, the more we forgive ourselves for not knowing, the more that whole field starts to open up and we get to learn the things that we don't know. Yeah. So, okay. Sharon, got one more?
It says, "Hi Suzy, I've been going through a big transformation, divorce, mental health, and financial uncertainty. I'd like to get some guidance about this time and how to get rid of my fear of life. Thanks."
Well, first things first, you know, when we move through life and it can feel very often like life has been done to us instead of for us, that life experiences um, are working against us instead of for us. And that's the fundamental shift in perception that is attempting to occur right now. That especially when the rug's been pulled out from underneath over and over and over again. On the one hand, we can perceive that as, woo, life has been very challenging almost from the get-go, and it just continues to be challenging. And on the other hand, it's like every time that rug is pulled out from underneath, it's it's almost like the soul's directive, the soul's intent to say, where are your sea legs? Where are you? Where's your strength? Where is the capacity? Like it's asking you to find that over and over again. And believe me, I can completely relate to the fact that sometimes you wish that Source did not believe in you so much, believe in your capacity to rise up over and over again. But that's exactly what Source does believe about you. And so it's almost like this perceptual shift. One of the first places I would go here is, when you're feeling heavy or victimized, or when that mental health especially becomes really heavy and dense, I would just start putting a question into the experience. How might this be working on my behalf? Show me. Show me how a divorce at this time is for my greater good. Show me how not knowing how to move forward is actually for my greater good. Yeah. Show me how feeling some of these feelings that are kind of hard to feel is actually for my greater good. It's like that pivot alone is starting to reorient. And it's a huge opportunity right now. Just like I was saying, we've had a huge kind of timeline shift. There's a lot of people that are having really significant endings right now. And they're having significant endings not because they're being punished, but because whatever that reality was no longer serves the trajectory that they're moving into or the future opportunities that they can have. So, how is this working for me? How might this be directing me um, to something much bigger, much more, mm, something that's available now that, quite frankly, just might not have been available in the past? Yeah, yeah. So that's the question. How's this working for me? Yeah. All right.
Last words.
Last words. Um, Everybody take a deep breath. This was a fairly deep and um, session and kind of a reorienting one. Um, Really at some pretty significant levels, depths, you might say, instead of levels. Um, it's not really hierarchical. It's really this opportunity to deepen into who we are in truth. And as we deepen into who we are in truth, we really begin to see who the kids are in truth. And this is a pretty deep and pivotal moment, I would say. And so the best we can do is know that we don't know and be open to receive what's next, what's available. Yeah. Yeah. So thank you, everybody, for showing up. Much appreciated and lots of love. Bye for now.